Good morning. I would like to welcome all participants and attendees to this final day of the SME Resilience event. And we can say that we have left the best for last because this will be the session about the flexible future of work. And in the afternoon, we will talk about the supply chain. So I think these are two very interesting topics. Uh, Let me introduce myself. My name is Aniko Balogh. I will be your moderator during these sessions. I'm representing the organizer of the project Co-Versatile. We are a Horizon 2020 project supported by the European Commission. We started 2 years ago, just at the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic. I know that some of you have already participated in the two previous sessions, so I wouldn't like to talk too much about the project itself, but I would just like to call your attention that we have got the recording of the previous 2 days on your screen, so you can visit it again. Today, we are going to focus on the flexible future of work. So it's a very important topic because it strongly links to our previous days, especially on the manufacturing topic, which we have already covered yesterday. And the topic of the future of work and workforce ramp up is very much interconnected with the topic of agile manufacturing also. Um, Also, the product and process certification topic, which was our first session yesterday, it also links very, very strongly with this issues, especially when we are talking about scaling up production during a health crisis or a pandemic. Um, some more information. If you scroll down, just right below the stage, you can see the event brochure with more information on how to get in touch for consultations with us, with the project partners, and also with innomine. But I will be talking about it later on during the day. So let's just take a look at our agenda. After my introduction here, you will have the opportunity to hear about how to maximizing your workforce flexibility, about skills monitoring, knowledge sharing, and training. The first presentation is always an overview of the state of the art of the topic in the present days. Then we will have a more theoretical introduction about the use of digital manufacturing tools for the workforce ramp up. And finally, usually we have got a best case scenario. It will be very interesting one. I must confess that this is my favorite presentation about augmented, mixed and virtual reality tools supporting systematic knowledge sharing. I'm really recommending it to everybody to watch it because I think this is one of the most interesting parts. And after that, we will just close it with the electrostatic disinfection spray systems. So I would just like to ask our first presenter on the floor, who will be Katarzyna Cichomska, and she will share with us her insights on the topic of workforce maximization. Let me just tell you some words about Katarzyna. She is an organizational psychologist specializing in socio-technical systems and human factors. She has over 10 years of experience working in large multinational, multidisciplinary research projects examining human behavior in complex systems to address real-world problems and organizational needs. She works as a project manager and a senior human factors and UX consultant at Deep Blue, where she is involved in consultancy and EU-funded research projects and various training initiatives. So, welcome, Katarzyna, And I would just like to hand over the floor to you to give your presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Aniko. Good morning, everyone. My name is Katarzyna Cichomska. Aniko introduced me already a little bit, so I won't go into too much detail again on my background, but I'm very happy to present today and tell you a bit more about how to maximize your workforce flexibility, how to monitor skills, and consider knowledge sharing and training. Okay, so just a few words about Deep Blue first. So we are a research and consultancy Italian SME. We have over 20 years of experience in applying human factors in different organizational contexts, usually safety critical sectors and complex operational settings, such as transport, healthcare, ICT, and manufacturing. We have a broad portfolio of services. However, within Co-Versatile, we are mainly concentrating on our skills and workforce service, which is looking at how the workforce is changing as a result of various things that are happening, and how can we analyze and predict how future scenarios and workforce profiles are going to change, and how can we support the organizations in going through that process efficiently and safely. Our team within Deep Blue, it's a very multidisciplinary team. So as Aniko said, I'm an organizational psychologist by background, but we have also people from computer science, from engineering, interaction design, communication, human factors, business administration, and all sorts of other areas. Within the Co-Versatile project team, we have 3 people. So it's myself, I'm managing the project. We have also Linda Napoletano, who is a human factors and validation expert. And we have Erika Vanucci, who is a human factors and design researcher. If you would like to learn more about our services and the kind of work that we do, Erika will be available also in the expo area within our booth during the live session. So please feel free to come and speak to us during those slots. And of course, please feel free to also message me via the direct chat option. Okay, so why is this topic actually important? So the changes that we observe in the workplace are happening very rapidly, and they are influenced by several different contributing factors. These may be technological, so we have new innovations, we have new technological solutions that can be introduced to modify and improve the way that the work is being done. We have societal changes such as globalization, for example, or urbanization. We have procedural things, so things related to different rules and procedures, different safety requirements. And we have, of course, also environmental changes, such as, for example, the push for sustainable solutions and more environmentally friendly solutions. And the impact of all of these changes covers really a large number of different work areas forming part of the wider system. So whenever something happens, whenever something changes within one area, it will impact and it will interact with other areas in which people work. So of course, if you're going to change something to the procedures or the policies, you may need to change how the working environment is designed. If you're going to introduce some new technologies, you have to consider the knowledge and skills that are needed in order to be able to operate that new equipment. And you may need new policies and procedures that will guide you in this work. So for such system to work effectively, it has to be looked at holistically. So you have to consider how the impact on one area is going to also influence the changes in other areas. And this really lies at the core of our approach. When it comes to adaptation to change, there are 2 things that are very important, and that is the speed of change and the extent of change. So of course, Change can be proactive. It can be something that is driven from internally from the organization, simply because of the need to change something or wanting to improve something about the organizational functioning. It can also be reactive as a result of some pressures, external pressures, for example, or something that is happening internally that pushes you to make some reactive changes. The impact of change can also be direct or it can be subtle. And of course, whilst gradual change will facilitate adaptation, wealth, and growth, people will have time to adapt to these changes. Rapid change can be highly disruptive because people need to have the time to adapt, and organizations need to have time to prepare for the coming changes. And what we've observed largely because of COVID is that this was a very reactive change. It was a very direct change, and it was a very rapid change. This meant that a lot of the organizations went through what we can call a Big Bang effect, which meant that they have gone through a transformational change that was happening at a number of simultaneous initiatives and in many different areas. So it was really a change of the way of working due to what was happening. And of course, when these Big Bang changes happen, they can be very disruptive because they happen suddenly and they really affect a number of different areas. What we're trying to do within Co-Versatile is we're trying to produce materials and solutions that organizations can use to move to a more of a realignment change or adaptation, slower adaptation change, where changes are undertaken to realign the way in which the organization operates. So this means that we're trying to produce some outputs that will then guide the organization in going through that change in a more, let's say, more resilient way, going through it slower and allowing for the time, for the adaptation time. In terms of Co-Versatile training challenges, we are trying to address, by producing these outputs, we are trying to address the following challenges. How to identify the key areas for reskilling and upskilling, which tasks will require learning new skills in order to complete work tasks in the repurposed production lines, how to ensure fast and smooth worker adaptation, how to preserve the knowledge of temporary workers, how to support the organization in managing the change process effectively, allowing for this smooth transition. So the work within Co-Versatile focuses largely on the knowledge and skills part. So if the organization is going through a reconfiguration need, how do we support that organization in understanding where the key knowledge and skills needs are for the workers? And of course, in order for organizations to be prepared for these kind of changes, it is important that they have a standardized methodology that allows them to describe the skills and knowledge that they currently have and assess where the possible gaps may be, to monitor that skills evolution within the company and within the changing way of working within a company, and to be able to carry out this fast and structured gap analysis so that they can respond rapidly to changes that are happening. And of course, as a result of it, provide relevant and timely training to those workers who really need it. We have, as part of this work, we have identified 3 main types of contextual changes that are caused by the sudden need for reconfiguration. And these are modification of an existing process, adoption of a new process, and change of production intensity. I'll say a few words about each of these contexts now. So within the modification of an existing process, here we are looking really at a modification that is happening to part of the production. So this may mean adoption of a new piece of equipment. It may be a change to a task or procedure. It could be process automation, reorganization of some roles and responsibilities, or product modification. But it's a change that is more that is affecting a certain part of the production. Of course, this will then impact also on the other areas, but it's more of an isolated change, let's say. And the main challenges in this kind of context is to identify the key areas of impact and to allow for fast reskilling and upskilling of those workers which will be affected by the changes. Now, this change, whilst this change will affect part of the production, the majority of the production processes and procedures are actually still valid in the new context. So this is not a very transformational change, but the majority of the way of working is still preserved. However, some members of staff may need to learn additional skills. In the second scenario, we have adoption of a new process. And now this is more of a transformational change. So here we are really looking at change that is happening at multiple fronts at the same time. And whilst this is more of a, it's more of a long-term change, the assumption is that the organization is most likely not going to reverse back to the original way of working. This, of course, means that all areas of work will be impacted. And as a result, all of these areas need to be reassessed and adjusted. So the majority of the production processes have to be realigned. And of course, this means also a fast reskilling and upskilling of all workers who are part of that production process. So this, again, will have a different type of impact on the organization than a more isolated, let's say, specific change. The third context is a change of production intensity. Now here, the focus is mainly on a sudden increase in the amount of product that you have to produce. And as a result, here you have a sudden need for more workers to come and support the production lines, but only for a temporary period of time. So here the main challenges are the sudden increase in the number of workers. So of course, this means also recruiting the right people and adjusting the workplace in order to accommodate for them. And then quick training, adaptation of temporary workers to new working conditions. So here the focus is mainly on new members of staff. And then, of course, a way of supporting them with existing members of staff who can, let's say, help them in that transition time. But of course, the majority of the working processes and procedures remain the same. There are no changes as such to how the work is being done. But one of the key elements is also to then retain the knowledge of these temporary workers after they leave. So what we're trying to do at the moment is we're producing a set of generic tools and templates for individuals and organizations that can support them in identifying and developing key knowledge and skills and following from that training materials that will be required in each of these different contexts. And of course, we're working with the manufacturing settings to identify some of these tools and templates that will be most useful for them and other manufacturing settings, of course, afterwards as well. So the produced tools will be aligned with different production repurposing needs and different scenarios. And some examples include support for identification of key production and user roles and working scenarios, understanding where the key areas of change are, who are the main workers who will be affected, what kind of tools can we use to identify the key skills and the changing tasks and competencies required, skill self-assessment measures that will help the workers identify what kind of training pathway they need, some process checklists that can be developed to support temporary workers or new workers in doing their tasks, and general guidance on change management and knowledge retention approaches that can be used within any organization to support them through this process. And of course, all of these guidance and training materials that we are producing as part of our work, Deep Blue's work in Co-Versatile, will be further accompanied by materials and outputs that are provided by other Co-Versatile partners involved in the training work package. And you will see a number of different solutions in the next presentations. For now, thank you very much. If you have, that's all from me. If you have any questions at all, please put them in the comments, or as I mentioned before, please feel free to send me a direct message or come visit us in the booth. Thank you.
Thank you, Katarzyna. I cannot see any questions here in the comment sections yet, but as Katarzyna has already mentioned, you have got the possibility to visit us at the expo in the lunch break, so between the two presentation sessions. So you will have the opportunity to contact us there later on. So if there aren't any questions, I would like to thank you again for this grounding presentation. And I would like to ask our next two presenters on the stage, who will be Katarina Deme and Tosin Famusudo from HSSMI. They will share their insights on the use of digital manufacturing tools in the topics of workforce ramping up. Let me introduce them in some words. Katarina is a project management coordinator at HSSMI. She has previously managed electric battery and circular economy research projects. As she is a part of the project management office team at HSSME, she is also the go-to person regarding standard project management processes, procedures, and documentation in the company. In the Co-Versatile project, Katarina is the main contact person for HSSME's training package deliverables for each of the manufacturing sessions, which you may have heard about previously. Tosin Famusudo is a digital manufacturing tools manager at HSSME. He has over 8 years of digital manufacturing experience in the automotive sector, and now at HSSME he leads the team in the development and implementation of digital manufacturing. Previously, he has successfully led the technical delivery of several digital transformation, scale-up, and electrification-based projects, both commercial and research and development, such as the development of digital tools to support 5G enhanced manufacturing, integrated virtual commissioning, and digital threads to support manufacturing engineering digital twins, which we already had a presentation about yesterday. So I would like to hand the floor to both of them, and please go ahead with your presentation.
Thank you very much for the introduction, Aniko. I will start and Tosin will continue. So I'm going to start the presentation by introducing you to HSSMI and our role in the project, then demonstrate some of our project deliverables, and at the end, my colleague Tosin will give you some information about HSSMI's wider services. Next slide, please. So HSSMI is a UK sustainable manufacturing innovation consultancy. We have offices in London, Birmingham, and Glasgow. We work across manufacturing industries to help companies respond to market challenges by increasing productivity, transitioning towards circular economy, and upscaling their products and processes. Next slide, please. In the project, our main role is to deliver specific training packages for each manufacturing setting that would allow the workforce to access digital work instructions and engineering data remotely. So these training materials can be used for multiple purposes, such as offline operator training to speed up the time taken to upskill engineers for faster launch, assistive training to ensure quality throughout production, and product awareness training to optimize the manufacturing process development. Next slide, please. We all know that highly skilled and multi-skilled workforce is in high demand in manufacturing industry, especially in crisis situations. So in response to recent COVID-19 pandemic, many organizations required a quick ramp up of their newly hired personnel or reskilling of the existing staff that they had. And high quality training definitely allows to not only reboard, laid off or furloughed employees or onboard new ones, but also to reskill employees who may have to learn new jobs or tasks. Remote and essentially employees, they often struggle to access the relevant operational information or training instructions that are stored and shared in a conventional way. So companies that actually embrace modern digital learning tools are better prepared to cope with the crisis just because they can respond quickly. Next slide, please. Now we want to present to you the first of the 3 demos from the Coversatile project that our team has been working on. This is the first one. So the company that's called Technostatic owns a unique electrostatic spraying technology that reduces the disinfectant time from a few hours to just a few minutes. You will hear about this technology later on in the presentation. For our team, the task was to create digital instructions for end users on how to operate this equipment. The first solution was an e-manual in a 3D PDF format, and then this was complemented by a video representation in order to visualize and showcase this disinfectant equipment. Let's move on to the next one. Thank you. So you can see the demo operating here. The user is able to open the 3D PDF instructions on their computer with just using Adobe Acrobat, and then they navigate through the menu. You can see the 3D PDF instructions in action with the model of the disinfectant backpack spray and the step-by-step instructions and the parts of the equipment being featured here. The advantage is that it can be easily shared with the workers, and operators provide clear visual instructions for them before they can actually start working on the field. With this e-manual, you can also integrate the videos, as you can see here, and going back to the main menu, you can embed the instructions in a what used to be the Word document. So everything is in one place. And even embed YouTube videos as well. So that's a quick skip through. Thank you. And this is the second part in the game and engine. Thank you. So this video is illustrating the features and functionality of the disinfectant spraying equipment. It allows Technostatic to improve their communication with customers and to show how the electrostatic sprayer works in a simple and graphic way. For example, the users can see the composition and location of the basic components, such as battery, tank, compressor, connection of the liquid, air, and electric hoses, the operating buttons, and the spraying process itself. Thank you. Moving on to the second demonstrator. This is the instructions that we created for the operators of the machine that produces FFP2 masks. You can see the machine in the top, in the bottom right corner. We use the instruction manual in a Word format that we received from our partner Demcon, along with the CAD of the machine, to integrate them into the digital manual in a 3D PDF format. Then our team used the gaming engine, similar to the first demo, to show the machine's modules in high detail, as well as the names of the parts. If you move to the next slide, you'll be able to see the video of that. So the work resulted in this comprehensive digital manual that contains the details about all 5 machine modules, alongside the support and operating instructions. So this is the demo of module B with the parts, and the user can turn it and zoom in and pause and interact with the model. Then you're able to go back to the home page, and one of the operating instructions that this demo is showing is also happening in the same module, but in this time it gives the operator step-by-step guide on how to perform an operation. You can see I'm clicking through the steps, and there are 10 steps in total for this operation. Not going through all of them, but showing you how it works. Again, the complexity really depends on the requirements, on how detailed the CAD is, how detailed the instructions are. So it can be as simple or as complicated as the customer requires it to be. Okay, moving on to the third solution that we are sharing. Right. Okay. This one is the. Okay. Yeah. Let's play that. Okay. This is the same machine in the Unreal in the gaming engine. You can see the walkthrough and how that looks from the user perspective. So this is the simulation of the mask making machine in gaming engine that allows for more detailed view of the machine's modules and the parts. You can see the 5 modules there, and we walk around to look at them in more detail. For example, that's close-up of the module A. So the user is using the VR headset for a more immersive user experience. However, the simulation will also work without it, just by simply using it on the Windows-equipped computer. So no specialized software is required for that. These annotations have been added to show the parts. And the user can actually also add their own labels without any specialist software. Compared to the 3D PDF, the gaming engine technology allows for more lifelike experience of interacting with the machine at a real scale. It's got X-ray view as well and other features. Thank you. And now we're going to the third solution, which is the interactive digital guide about best practices for robot systems that we created together with the UK company called MTC. This tool will act as a general guide for companies who want to undertake the same flexible approach to robotics as the MTC. Thank you, and let's have a look at how it looks like. So this guide is aimed at beginners in robotics. It provides general definitions and guidelines to help find out more about robot systems, understand how they work, provide installation guidelines, and so on. So here I'm showing the 4 main sections of the guides. This is the beginning of the first one, so you can embed images, videos, everything for the to achieve the interactive learning. It's very intuitive interface, so which doesn't require any training. And just showing one of the parts in the second section. You can structure information in a simple way, so we avoid long paragraphs of text, as originally this was a very long Word document, which is quite hard to go through and just to learn properly. But when you structure it in this way, it's much more easier. Okay. Thank you. Next slide, please. So now just let us introduce you to other areas of HSSMI's expertise. You can see that's a screenshot from our website. Our expertise areas include manufacturing strategy, digital manufacturing, lean manufacturing and automation, battery technology, hydrogen propulsion, electric drives, and circular economy. Here I've underlined those which seem to be most relevant to the goals of the Versatile project. But you're, of course, welcome to browse our website and find out more. Okay, so now we'll introduce you to some of the services that we provide to our customers and which you may be interested in and find useful for your businesses as well. And I'm heading over to Tosin.
Thank you very much, Katarina. My name is Tosin Famusudo. I'm going to just spend a few moments taking you through some of HSSMI's wider services. So on the next slide, I think we start off by introducing you to VTC, which is our virtual training creator. So training industrial workforces can be a challenge for many businesses, and it often poses many challenges such as health and safety risks, logistical arrangements, complex training or training scenarios, and often for an operator on the actual shop floor, it means that we have to take out a skilled process engineer or lead engineer and some resource time from the actual machine in terms of machine downtime to be able to make those complex scenarios happen. So the virtual training creator, developed by HSSMI, seeks to make the process of workforce training easier by the opportunities offered by virtual reality and augmented reality, actually. So virtual reality enables users to enable them, immerse themselves in a virtual realistic risk-reduced work scenario where they can learn the required skills and procedures to their applicable role. So the VTC tool is actually a gaming engine plugin that leverages immersive technologies to build a user-friendly digital interface for Unreal Engine. And the purpose of it is to actually support manufacturers who want to upskill their workforce digitally and collaboratively in the safety of a digital environment. And at the moment, HSSMI do actually offer this tool for free, so you can access it through our website and download it absolutely free. And of course, we do continue to offer support as well. So if there is a need for additional training on the tool, then we can offer that as well. Next slide, please. So moving on to immersive reality for collaboration and training. So I think I've mentioned before, HSSMI does create computer-generated immersive simulations that can be explored or interacted with across all areas of the business, increasing collaboration, using immersive technology, such as head-mounted displays, or like we like to call VR headsets, or augmented reality headsets, which mix reality, so overlay a virtual image over the real world. So the simulations can be used for operator training, process visualization, workstation assessment, or product showcases. If you wanted to go and exhibit your product, for example, and didn't necessarily want to carry a huge machine or a battery that might have health and safety implications at the exhibition. And from using this technology across the industry, some of the benefits that we've seen are a reduced development time, in terms of shortening your time to ramp up and your first production runoff. Being able to lower design costs by eliminating at least one level of physical validation. So you can imagine, if you was to go and mock up a prototype or build a prototype of the design, there'll be material cost and labor cost there. You could eliminate that with a virtual implementation instead. And of course, as I mentioned earlier, the health and safety implications whereby you can safely put an operator or a low-skilled operator in an environment where there potentially could be a health and safety risk if they were in the real world. If you move on to the next and final service then. So we also offer process and layout development service. And so by using digital tools and creating abstracted real-world models, we can assess different alternatives to run, test, and validate investments before implementation. So we often support the creation of digital factory, and we can also help you improve your processes via a series of steps. That includes workshops, surveying and process mapping to understand the current state of your business processes, and then often looking at how we can improve those processes, looking at gaps in the digital thread, and how we can help make your business process a lot better digitally. We look at process simulation in terms of validating your high level, right from the high level manufacturing strategy right down to the day-to-day operations of your production facility. And then, of course, we support the implementation of your new processes. And often that includes rollout of new digital tools to support digital transformation as well. So yeah, of course, we've seen that this can help your organization in terms of being more flexible and reacting to unforeseen circumstances. As we saw in the pandemic, a lot of processes then had to become digital because of remote working. And of course, integrating innovative processes and technologies, we've seen huge benefits there as well. So that was it from me. Of course, if you would like to know anything more, then please get in contact with us, either myself, Katarina, or go on the website and have a browser and get in contact with us. Thanks for listening and thanks for your interest.
Thank you very much, Katarina and Tosin. I cannot see any questions here in the studio, so I would again like to emphasize the possibility to contact us during the expo. And also, as I mentioned, we've got a brochure where you can find the description and the contact information for all the project partners, so also for HSSMI. So I would like to thank you again, Katarina and Tosin, for your presentations. As I confessed, I'm very much positively biased for all of these visual aids in learning, being a teacher myself. And I know that it's very, very useful for the students if they don't just read about things, but they can watch and they can experience it. So I think your solutions are really great. So thank you again. And let's just go on with the similar topic. And I would like to call Antonio Salis and Davide Sebastianutto to the screen. They will talk about also similar solution, augmented, mixed and virtual reality tools supporting knowledge sharing. So let me just tell you some words about our next presenters. Antonio Salis is a senior research and development project manager at the engineering in Cagliari, Italy. He's currently engaged in several Horizon 2020 research projects, as well as in Horizon Europe new proposals in ICT and industry. Prior to engineering, he worked in software and integration projects where he played several roles from developer to system architect with IBM, ST Microelectronics and Video Online, then technical lead and project management with Telecom Italia and Tiscali. Antonio Salis holds a master's degree in computer science at the University of Pisa. Davide Sebastianutto is a project manager at OverIT in Udine, Italy. He's coordinating different AR and VR projects with customers in energy, utility, telco, transportation industries. In his past experience, he worked in a scale-up focused on business travel, managing the customer satisfaction in European countries. Davide holds a degree in information technology at the University of Udine, and he's always been passionate about new technologies and travel. So please, Antonia and Davide, the floor is yours. Go ahead.
Okay, many thanks, Aniko. Good morning, everyone. I'm Antonio Salis. I'm a research project manager in the engineering group. I'm going to describe the key role of augmented, mixed, and virtual reality tools to support a systematic knowledge sharing, while Davide Sebastianutto of OverIT will show a practical demonstration of these tools. So first of all, I'd like to introduce engineering. Engineering is a global company with 65 offices in Europe, North and Latin America. We offer software and service development, system integration, digital platform. We have a strong presence in research and innovation with more than 400 researchers, and we have about 80 running research projects. OverIT has been in our group until recent months. They are still our main partners and our solid reference for AR, VR solutions, since they are top-class providers for such technologies. And I have to highlight that developing advanced training and collaboration solutions using extended reality is one of the engineering main objectives in the project. So, few words on background on manufacturing and training needs. In the last 2 years, we have faced the COVID crisis that posed a big challenge to manufacturers. The exceptional scenario created a shortage of medical devices like ventilators, CPAP, other tools, and manufacturers were asked for a high degree of flexibility and fast response, and need for fast repurposing and adaptation of available equipment. This adaptation leveraged on the expertise of workers in the use of complex equipment, so a scenario where fast knowledge transfer or sharing between senior and junior workers was mandatory to foster the scaling potential of repurposed working environments. So, knowledge sharing on technologies and processes is the key enabler to speed up this change. Then, these are the main questions that manufacturers faced in the past months. How to support junior technicians during maintenance and inspections. How to deal with shortage of skilled resources and training of junior staff. How to facilitate the collaboration and knowledge sharing even remotely. There are some critical aspects to consider. For example, asset complexity. Setup and usage requires a deep knowledge where raw manipulation could cause failures or even breaking of critical equipment. At the same time, workers can work in dangerous environments, for example, managing chemical products. In all cases, there is a need to interact easily, better by voice, leaving hands free to easily manipulate equipment. That's a suggestion for extended reality technology. Another aspect is the knowledge gathering life cycle. This starts from the capture moment, where data needs to be captured, structured. The data could be augmented with other environmental data. Content could be tagged for further use, perhaps using artificial intelligence for data augmentation and tagging. Then, second step is to enhance the experience, where the content tagging could be applied automatically to many data sources, not only text or numerical data, but also images and video could be also indexed. Then, the distributed experience, where all the previous steps could be applied and executed in a systematic way in a field. Operators working in different sites could be engaged. So one operator could act as mentor, even remotely, to another young operator working in another site. And again, artificial intelligence could power several steps in this process. And continuous improvement in collaboration, cascade training with train-the-trainer chain. This is the main point. For sure, technology is a key enabler in all steps. For example, the cloud is a technology that can boost the impact of such solutions, in particular with the so-called cloudification of applications. That means moving ICT solution into cloud environment, thus enabling the consolidation of expertise on treatment in case of emergency like COVID, and reuse all stuff from everywhere. In this perspective, in the CoverSatile project, the digital technopole is based on cloud and acts as a hub that provides all this expertise. The same approach has been applied in the Eureka project, another COVID-oriented project, where engineering is the coordinator. So the cloud acts as the aggregator to collect all lessons learned and join forces against COVID. Now, let's see how the Space One platform answers all these questions and showcases main results. I leave the floor to Davide Sebastianutto of OverIT for his practical demonstration. So, Davide, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Antonio. And good morning, everyone. I'm Davide Sebastianutto, project manager at OverIT based in Udine. Many thanks, first of all, to our host, Aniko, and to all amazing previous presentations. So today, I'm glad to show you our cloud-based solution using augmented reality and artificial intelligence features. So let's imagine for a second to impersonate a technician on the field, executing a particular specific activity, such as the usage of the backpack spray that we saw previously. What you are looking at right now on the screen is our mobile-based solution that our technicians, our client users, usually use on the field. So let's imagine that we are using this application on any kind of smartphone, tablet, smart glasses, to be guided in the execution of our specific activity, in this case, in the usage of this backpack spray. So let's imagine that we have a set of step-by-step instructions to be executed. And what you're looking at right now is the application where on the left side you can see the main description of the action that we have to perform right now, such as the opening of the backpack. While on the right side, at the same time, we are looking at the 3D model with interactive components and layers that you are able here to hide or to display, like in this case. So from one side, we can see the main instruction to perform on the field, and from the other side, we are supported and guided in the execution of this activity thanks to interactive 3D models. As you can see, if we move on to the next instruction, for example, the description will be different, and so it will be the 3D model to highlight a different component. In this case, we are asked to connect the backpack battery, and so on. So thanks to these interactive 3D models that, again, we can interact from here, from our tablet in this case, we are supported in the execution of this activity. Also, consider that this kind of step-by-step procedures can be completely customizable from the backend side of our solution, meaning that you are also able to attach different kind of contents to these instructions. As you can see here on the bottom, we can have some documents, videos, or images to be supported in the execution of this activity. So again, images, videos that we can reproduce both in an online or offline mode using our mobile application, and even documents such as PDF manuals of the solution. Consider that the technician, our user on the field, might not be autonomous in the execution of this activity just by consulting the step-by-step instructions. So an alternative is to use our internal knowledge repository. Starting from here, as you can see, we are able to search inside a shared space that we call the knowledge repository, just by clicking here to select one or more tags, so keywords or topics that we want to search. And imagine this space as a shared repository for all of your videos, images, documents, and so on. And all of this kind of contents can support the execution of the activity from the technician on the field. So again, a very complete and easy to use repository to store images, videos, and documents, and to consult them in real time during the execution of our procedure. Last but not least, let's imagine that during the usage of this backpack spray, for example, we are still not autonomous in performing a specific task. So we might have the need to contact a backend user, so a remote user to be supported in real time in the execution of this particular activity. And in this case, from here, we are able to contact an online user, so usually a backend user working remotely from his office and using a browser on his PC. So just by clicking on this user here, on the other side, so here on my web browser, on my PC, I'm able to accept the call that I'm receiving from the client user. So we are establishing the connection right now. And here you can see in real time the point of view of my mobile application. In my case, I'm using just a tablet right now. So from now on, the backend user is able to support me in real time while I'm sharing my point of view through the camera of my device. First and foremost, as I'm sharing my point of view here, I'm able to take advantage of a whole series of features, such as what we call the augmented reality mode. So by activating this mode, let's open this backpack as an example. I'm able to map the virtual scene in front of me with this transparent grid that you can see here, to be able to apply some fixed annotations on the scene, such as this arrow, for example. And as you can see, this shape will remain fixed on the screen thanks to the augmented reality technologies, or even in this case, a blinking dot to highlight a specific detail on the scene, on the asset that we are working on. Again, in this case, while we are being supported from the backend user, we are also able, as a remote expert, to share relevant contents in real time with the client user on the field. So by using this tool, for example, I'm able to start the sharing of the same 3D model of the backpack and to be able to interact with it in real time. So right now on the screen of my tablet, of my smartphone, or my smart glasses, I'm looking at exactly the same 3D model in real time. I'm also able to share the same kind of contents from my internal knowledge repository. So again, just by picking up a PDF manual, such as this one, I'm able to share it in real time with the client user and to apply live annotations like this that the client user will see in real time on the screen of his device. Let's close right now this feature to restore the main point of view of the client user from the camera of the device. And last but not least, I'd just like to mention you also the possibility for you to perform this kind of collaboration calls between multiple users. Let's imagine that from here, you might have more than one user on the field connected on this call at the same time. So you will see here on the left the main previews of the point of view of all the different users. So you are able to start the call in real time with any of these users to be able to support all of them one by one at the same time. So to sum up everything, we have just seen how to perform guided resolution instructions on the screen of our device by consulting 3D models, documents, images, and PDFs. And we've also seen how to start a collaboration call to be able to be supported by a backend user by sharing in real time our point of view, like we are doing right now. Great. So for any kind of question or curiosity, feel free to use the internal chat here. And again, thank you all for your attention. And I leave the floor to you, Aniko.
Thank you very much, Davide. I still cannot see any questions, but the organizers call my attention that we are a bit late with our schedule. So I would just like to everyone to put their questions in the expo between the two sessions and afterwards. So let's just go on with the next presentations. Thank you very much again, Davide and Antonio. And I would like to introduce our next presenter, Dr. José Manuel Bielsa, who is a Research and Development Manager at ITAINNOVA. And he will talk about about electrostatic disinfection spray systems. So let me just introduce José very shortly. Dr. Bielsa has got a PhD in mechanical engineering. He worked as a researcher in the group of composite materials at the University of Zaragoza. And he has been responsible for several projects funded in national and European public calls. He joined ITAINNOVA in 2003 under the Torres Quevedo program of the Spanish Ministry of Industry, with the objective of joining a newly created research line in tribology and rubber-like materials. And his most important topics are the numerical modeling of materials, manufacturing processes, and recently they are related to the development of virtual tools for the analysis of industrial components and processes. So, José, please take the floor. Thank you.
Thank you, Aniko. Good morning, everyone. Today I am going to talk on behalf of Sergio Rodriguez from the company Technostatic about its electrostatic disinfection systems as a use case of the different knowledge sharing and training technologies presented today. So next one, please. In this presentation, I will first present a little bit in the company Technostatic. I will talk a little bit about its owned surface electrostatic spraying technology, and afterwards I will explain how the manufacturing challenge that this company has to face because of the pandemic situation in 2020 have been solved within the CoVersatile project. Next one, please. So, Technostatic is a small SME located in the northeast of Spain, in the city of Zaragoza. And its main activity is related to the design and fabrication of professional systems for electrostatic spraying and for, let's say, the disinfection of surfaces. Next. its portfolio covers different systems regarding the capacity and the surface coverage that is needed to solve and to disinfect, for example, in different sectors. Next. Which in different sectors that need a specific care of the surfaces, in particular the disinfection. So with this electrostatic technology, the systems produced by this company are able to solve any contamination problems in sectors like food industry, hospitals, offices, college transport, public transport systems, restaurants, and so on. Next. So, regarding the pandemic situation arising in 2020, this company experienced a high increase in the demand of its electrostatic systems, so they had to plan a complete repurposing of their current portfolio and their current manufacturing capabilities. So this company defined three main objectives to solve this increase in the demand. These three objectives are to obtain fast surface disinfection capabilities, fast manufacturing times. So here it's needed a specific ubication of the components, and the supply chain is possible within Europe, and to ease as much as possible the training of the end user and the customers for the configuration and the setup of the system. The solution proposed by this company was to propose a novel autonomous portable disinfection system. This system will be operated by battery with an autonomy of more or less 3 hours. It's the surface, the electrostatic technology for disinfection of surfaces owned by this company was needed to be transferred successfully to this portable product, with the electrostatic capability, the correct drop size of the sprayed product, and with the scope and the coverage capabilities of the surface to be disinfected. In addition, because of the autonomy concept and the portable concept, the design must be ergonomic and with an optimal weight for use by the operator. Next, please. So the first step faced by this company was the concept design. So the first two problems to be faced was to obtain an adequate design of the system, in this case in the form of a backpack, and in which the different components of the spraying technology must be downsized and packed inside. In addition, the electrostatic spraying technology must be also successfully transferred from the standard systems to this portable system. So a specific design of the sprayer was also needed. Next, please. So in this slide, we will see a 1-minute video explaining the technology of the surface spraying technology. in this video, you have seen two important things. First is that with the electrostatic technology, you are able to cover a full 360 degrees coverage of the sprayed product. So by this you are able to reach all the areas in the disinfection area. And second is that you are spraying the optimal amount of disinfection fluid. So you are not, let's say, wetting in excess the surface. So this technology was transferred in collaboration with us, with ITAINNOVA, and by using numerical simulations that my colleague Mario Miana presented yesterday in these sessions. Next, please. In addition, the company Technostatic has carried out prototype testing on its own facilities. In these images, you can see how the technology, the electrostatic technology, has been successfully translated to the portable system by means of this test with this hydrosensitive paper. You can see that when the paper is coming from yellow to black in the opposite side of the spray system, it means that the droplets have been attracted by the electrostatics to the opposite surfaces. Next, please. The second objective that needed to achieve this company was to achieve a fast manufacturing of this portable system to attend the high peaks of demand. So the prototype design included several components that are very different, come from very different providers, and also must be specific because of its downsizing. So this company, next please, needed first to draw an emergency plan to be able to ensure that the supply of the different components was achieved on time. So different components are coming, most of them from suppliers within Europe. And in addition, this emergency plan implies the definition of a specific contracts with the suppliers, including a minimum amount of stock available, and to be able to face changes in the demand, and also to have some emergency stock for such hidden demands. Next, please. In addition, and regarding the training, to ease the training and the use of the system, these complex systems by the end users of the components, in collaboration with HSSMI, and as Katarina has presented some minutes ago, there has been developed a 3D digital environment to ease the end user and the customer the explanation on how the system works. This is which are its components, how do they work, where are they placed, and what is needed to quickly set up the system, to remove the battery, for example, and recharge it, and to put the system in working condition. Next one. In addition, because of the high peak of demand, the manufacturing force, the workforce of the company needed to be increased. So this training digital environment is also useful to this increase of workforce, because this company has needed to have staff outside the company, and because of this, a compromise on the production capacity of this outside staff, and also their knowledge about the system, the portable system, is needed. Therefore, this training environments is useful also for the outside company workforce. Next, please. And finally, in this slide, we can see the first available prototype after solving all these challenges regarding design, regarding manufacturing capability. So this company has achieved to put in the market a system with solving the three objectives that I have commented before regarding the fast capability of disinfection, the fast production manufacturing need, and also to ease the training of the customer and the end user. In this video, in this slide, is 1 minute video where we are going to see how this prototype is working on the field. Okay, just to finish in the last slide, just to show that finally this company has been able to put in the market a portable autonomous surface disinfection system, following in close collaboration with co-versatile partners and a hybrid virtual physical prototyping methodology. In addition, this company has been able to transfer its own electrostatic technology. So the portable system is able to spray the disinfectant with this electrostatic system. And finally, the manufacturing and training problems to face because of the high demand because of the pandemics have been solved in collaboration with co-versatile, with having available supply chains of components within Europe and a training environment for the end user and the customers. So this is all for this presentation. So I would like to thank you for your attention, and if you have some questions, please put them into the chat or visit us in the expo.
Thank you very much, Jose. Again, I think this was a very interesting presentation showing all of these technical possibilities. As I have mentioned, we are already a little bit over time, so as Jose mentioned, let's just contact our presenters in the expo from 11:45, so between the two sessions. So with this, I would just like to close this session, and let me just tell you some words about our future cooperation. So you might know that we have got an online marketplace which is called the Digital Technopole platform. You can find it here and also the link in your Hopin page on the top. So one of the main goals of our project is to create matches between you, the participants, the SMEs, the representatives of companies, and between the project partners who have been introducing their solutions, technical and other solutions during these 3 days and within the project. You know that our project is not finished yet. We have got half another year running, and also after the finish of the project, we will be available for you during the Digital Technopole. So I'm just encouraging everyone to visit the Digital Technopole in the link you can see here in this slide. First, you have to register, and after that, you have got the opportunity to discover all of our services, software, solutions, consultation opportunities. And in the matching menu, you can create a new match, requesting that organization you would like to talk to. Actually, we already have got some match requests. I myself have received some in the expo during these past 2 days. So another feature is, as we are continuously encouraging you to visit the expo, take a look at our company's introductory videos. You can also get some more information about the pilots we've been conducting during the project. And again, you can just message us directly in the expo area, which you can find on the left hand of your screen. So let me just close this session by inviting you to this afternoon's session. So our last item will be at 1 o'clock today about the resilient supply chains, which we think is again a very, very important feature and issue of the whole topic of the resilience of SMEs. So let's just see each other here after the lunch break, after your visit to the Digital Technopole and the Expo, where we'll be waiting for you in person, live. So let's just see each other at 1 o'clock this afternoon with our final closing session. And before you leave, let's just watch a short video about co-versatile. So thank you very much for your interest, and let's see each other in about 1.5 hours.